Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about an important concept within networking, which is CIDR and IP allocation. So what is a CIDR? CIDR actually is classless inter-domain routing in the networking world, right? And which is nothing but a method to allocate the IP addresses, right? Now over here there are, if you see, I have mentioned, things like this is having IPv4. So there are actually couple of methods through which the IP gets allocated, IPv4 and IPv6. But now we will, at least for this, kind of video, we are only going to focus on IPv4. Now, what is IPv4? Imagine a use case like, we are connecting to any of the websites, right? And those websites will be having, something like www.amazon.com. So, but that's actually a domain name. So internally, what happens is, since we are connecting to that website through internet, we actually, that particular website gets resolved to an IP address, okay? And that IP address is nothing but your IPv4 address. For matter of fact, today's world, if we connect to any such website, internally it has to be resolved to a particular IPv4 address, right? Now, now to begin with, then what is IPv4, right? So IPv4, kind of addresses will serve as a building blocks for essentially for internet communication, right? And it is obviously represented by some numerical labeling, right? And they are labels which are given in form of octets, okay? Now IPv4, obviously if we see in under each octet you will get 256 digits, right? So over here if you see, this is one octet which will have the numbers from 0 to 255. Another octet is this, which will have number from 0 to 255. Likewise, so there will be four numbers separated by three dots. This is one dot, this is another dot, and this is the third dot, right? Now, now that we have set some context around IPv4, then what is a CIDR, which we discussed just few moments back. So CIDR is nothing but you can assume that a representation in which I am going to kind of get multiple IPs through a same CIDR kind of notation, right? So again, if you see this, this is how it is kind of mentioned, right? So 12/26. What does that mean? It not only means that we are getting one IP which is 191.167.23.12, but actually it is a combination of IP which is represented by your CIDR notation /26, right? So it has your base IP, which I'm mentioning over here. It is this one, right? And obviously the subnet mask, which is /26, right? So let's go to the next slide and we will, understand, right? How do you even get the CIDR to the exact IP range, which, I have just now explained, right? Now take an example like this one, 187.245.0.0 /28. What does that mean, right? So if this is my kind of CIDR notation, how many IPs does this CIDR resolve to, right? So we will try to understand that. As I was explaining you, your IP address is nothing but combination of octets, and from right to left, if you see, this is your fourth octet, third octet, second octet, and first octet. And under each octet, we can only have the numbers from 0 to 255. Example, if tomorrow if somebody will tell, right, can this octet have values like 260? Answer is no. Answer is no, right? Because the values will only begin from 0 until end at 255. Okay, and when we say octet, it always resembles to the fact that it is always 2 to the power. Example, if this value is having just one number, let's say 20, right? So it represents 2 to the power 0. That means only one value can be there. And if I am having maybe something like 2 to the power 1, then I can at max get two values in this place, 2 to the power 2, 4 values, 2 to the power 3, 8 values. Likewise, at max, I can go till 2 to the power 8, which is 255, from 0 till 255. So it is always 2 to the power. Right? So that's how the octet has been, kind of configured and designed. So it can never have 2 to the power 9 values, right? Okay. And with this example, what we are trying to tell is the maximum IP, okay, for a particular domain name can only be like this: 255.255.255.255, and the minimum would obviously be 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0, right? So let's go next. So this is how your CIDR to IP values gets resolved, right? Now I was mentioning about the representation of the CIDR example. If I have something like /32, 0/32, what does that mean? It will just have one IP, okay, which is this one, okay. Now if it is reduced to maybe 31, so how many kind of values will it resolve to? So 2 to the power 1, so 2 IPs, right? So basically I will get something like this: 0 and 1, so 2 IPs, huh? So think of it like I am I am defining certain rules within any of my product, okay. So I can either mention these two values, or I can mention the CIDR range, which eventually will be translated to these two values only, right? And then let's say it is 30, /30, right? So then it will resolve to 4 IPs, which will start with maybe this number. Think of it like 0, your 1, 2, and 3, maximum 4, right? Next, like if you reduce it, so it will go, it starts from 32 and it has to end somewhere, right? And the ending can be at max, so it will start from 0 and it ends to 255. Likewise, this octet value will start from 32 and it will end at 24. Why? Because that will ensure that I am just getting 2 to the power 8 values. So 32 so minus 24 is your 8. That means 2 to the power 8. At max I can get 255 sorry 256 IPs. This is the example, right? The fourth octet is this one. The max it can go till 24. Okay. Now if I write obviously something like 23, then I will not be pointing or maybe changing any numbers over here. Then my numbers will be changed from here on, because I cannot have anything beyond 255. Okay. So example, if I have something like 24, then obviously this number will start from 000 and it will end at 255. Now imagine I am doing some kind of network configuration. I have two ways now. Either I can explicitly mention 255 IPs by separating them with comma, or I can just mention this one. If I want to whitelist or blacklist, certain IPs which will kind of talk to any of my kind of ecosystem, cloud ecosystem. So I have the CIDR way of representing the IP values, right? So, just elaborate this one and then try to map it with this particular octet and CIDR ranges. You know that, for the fourth octet at max, I can have 32, and then your 24, and so likewise 16, 8, 0, right? And when anything comes as 0, as I was telling you, all octet changes, right? So let's see some of the examples now, which I was telling, right? So this is the fourth octet, 260. Can it have 260 values? Answer is no, because the max is 255, right? Now, this is again one example where the fourth octet I am mentioning, but over here, what did I say? The fourth octet value is 40. Will it work? Or is it the right CIDR? Answer is no. It will start with 32 and it can at max go till 20. I mean, it has to be less than 32, right? And that's how it has to be defined, right? And next is obviously 28. Yes, it can be defined. And next is your 8. Okay, this is incorrect, right? Now because this one will at max have 24, the octet, and this one is 16, right? And this one is /8, but your number is having 255, right? So 278 is absolutely not correct, right? So at max I can have 255 value, right? And this one is correct, obviously. 32 minus 28 is obviously 4. And this one is equally correct because I will be kind of maybe pointing to not only this, right, but also over here, right? So 255 values, 256 values will be over here, and 256 values will be over here. So that is what I wanted to kind of explain in terms of CIDR. And over here, if you see, there is a clear summary of what CIDR is, what IP is, and what is an octet. And these are very important in terms of we defining certain network rules, network policies. And don't get surprised that whenever you will be dealing in any of the cloud ecosystem, in your network rules, if you see a CIDR configuration, it is nothing but your way of defining how many IPs does it resolve to, right? And everything currently is in IPv4 format right now. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to this video. Yeah, yeah, we'll connect again.